happened in Canada? Rick Ross got.
50 Cent just put Rick Ross on blast, and it's way deeper than rap.
Put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal.
For years, their beef was all about petty shots and bragging rights. But now 50's claiming Ross didn't just steal his shine. He sabotaged the entire BMF brand, from manipulating Big Meats to canceling the Welcome Home concert. Ross played the long game, and 50 is out to get him.
February 13th, the Big Meech benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this is the first time it's ever been done.
And now 50's firing back, exposing how Ross has been plotting to break the BMF brand from the inside. Was this Ross's plan all along? Let's break it down. 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been trading shots for years. But this time, 50 is not just throwing jabs. He's going for the knockout. It all started when Rick Ross got cozy with Big Meech after his release, Police, whispering in his ear and driving a wedge between Meech and 50. Then Ross took it a step further, organizing a flashy welcome home concert for Meech.
And we 2 days away from the Big Meech concert. Get your tickets right now. Make sure everybody flying to the city for this. It's gonna be.
But let's be real. This wasn't about celebrating Meech. It was about rubbing his new alliance in 50 Cent's face. Think about it. 50's been making serious bank from Big Meech's story. So when his biggest rival suddenly swoops in, offering Meech a flashy concert and promises of a big film deal, it was the perfect setup to poison the well.
Look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
Rick Ross didn't just want to celebrate Meech. He wanted to snatch the BMF brand right from under 50's nose. The Queens rapper went nuclear, calling Big Meech a snitch after he popped up alongside 50's longtime rival Rick Ross. And of course, 50 didn't just let it slide. He hit Instagram with a picture of a rat caption with the iconic line, "I think I'm Big Me," a direct shot at Ross's 2010 hit BMF, blowing money fast. Because let's be real, 50's never been one to take the high road, and he sure as hell wasn't about to start now. Now, you all know 50 doesn't play about his enemies, especially not Rick Ross, who's been a thorn in his side for years. But when footage dropped of Big Meech chilling with Ross like they're besties, 50 didn't a snitch after he popped up alongside 50's longtime rival Rick Ross. And of course, 50 didn't just let it slide. He hit Instagram with a picture of a rat caption with the iconic line, "I think I'm Big Me," a direct shot at Ross's 2010 hit BMF, blowing money fast. Because let's be real, 50's never been one to take the high road, and he sure as hell wasn't about to start now. Now, you all know 50 doesn't play about his enemies, especially not Rick Ross, who's been a thorn in his side for years. But when footage dropped of Big Meech chilling with Ross like they're besties, 50 didn't just get mad, he went nuclear.
February 13th, the Big Meech benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this is the first time it's ever been done.
And when 50 called me, an informant, folks thought he was making a mountain out of a molehill. But look at these pictures. This type of publicity, it doesn't just happen overnight. We're talking months of planning, contracts, and bookings. And the way it all came together, it's no wonder 50 felt straight up betrayed. But wait, let's play devil's advocate for a second. What if Rick Ross really did have some genuine interest in Big Meech? Maybe he just wanted to welcome him back in style. You could even argue that Rick's obsession with making a BMF film had him buttering Meech up, hoping to get his blessing.
Director. Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino. It's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it. I'm just talking.
Well, if that was the plan, it was dead on arrival. Because everyone knows 50 holds all the rights to the BMF story. Without his green light, Rick couldn't shoot a single frame. And that's exactly why the Meech betrayal hit so hard. 50 wasn't just cashing in on BMF, he was holding down Meech's legacy, even putting Lil Meech front and center in the series to support the family. He said, "I helped your family make over $5 million legit dollars. It's not my fault. It's all gone. Give the baby back his jewelry." So seeing Meech standing shoulder to shoulder with his biggest rival, yeah, that cut deep. After over a decade behind bars, Big Meech finally caught a break. His 30-year sentence got chopped down, and by October, came with baggage, because the streets are now buzzing with one question: did Meech sell out to get out? The fallout's already here. Tension between Meech and 50 Cent is shaking up the hip-hop scene. Word is some artists, including L Baby, might have pulled out of events after 50. Why throw out the snitching allegations? The funny-ish is they was saying at Lil Baby pulled up on them in a Ferrari truck, pockets full of money, and didn't give them nothing. 50 wrote Lil Baby was 5 when you got indicted. WTF, he owe you, of course. Meech wasn't about to take that lying down. He fired back, basically calling 50 bitter over his new business ties with Rick Ross.
"I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me."
And honestly, can you blame Bippy for feeling some type of way? He's been feuding with Ross for years. And now Meech, his supposed ally, is out here cozying up to the opposition. Y'all going to be disappointed when Lil Baby don't show up, when Skilled don't show up, when don't show up, all show up. But here's where it gets messy. Did 50 snitching claims have any truth behind them? Because it turns out Tammy Cowens, Meech's longtime business associate, may have played a key role in his early release. And according to Reggie Wright Jr., 50 Y himself might have been backing Meech behind the scenes, pulling strings to make it happen.
I don't know who Tammy Cowens is. Tammy is the young lady that's been accused of always cooperating with the government to help Big Meech get out of his situation or lessen his situation. Because a lot of y'all say, how come years, 20 years, and then y'all still saying he snitched? Well, because he didn't get 50 months. Is how that happens.
But now that loyalty is shattered, 50 is making sure the industry turns its back on Meech. And just when you think the tables couldn't turn any further, Reggie Wright threw another curveball, claiming 50 might have his own snitching skeletons hiding in the closet.
But now 50 Cent post that tweet asking about that, talking about he gonna do a documentary on that, explaining that. Man, how quick the tables turn.
He gonna do a documentary on that, explaining that, man, how quick the tables turn. What happened? 50 Cent is never one to let an opportunity for revenge slide. And Big Meech's welcome back concert, that was just more fuel for the fire. Get this, the stage was set, hip-hop's biggest names, Rick Ross, Red Money, Baggy, Lil Baby, ready to perform. Fans booked flights, bought outfits, and counted down the hours. But at the last minute, boom, canceled, unforeseen circumstance.
Big Meech's giant welcome home concert
I told you it
was
get
canceled.
What'd I tell you?
The bill was
What
insane.
did I say?
The list of artists on it was
Now you already know 50 couldn't resist. He hopped on Instagram like clockwork typing. "I had nothing to do with this. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am." But let's be real, no one believed that, especially when 50 doubled down posting, "If you bought an outfit and was ready to turn up, I apologize for whoever's responsible. Let's get to that." And just when you thought he was done, 50 hit him with a knockout punch, reposting a fan accusing him of shutting down the whole event. He didn't even deny it, just smirked and said, "I apologize for your trip to Miami. But you've been playing with me, so let's build when y'all get back to the city." Now was 50, can't say for sure. But one thing's clear, he wanted Meech, Ross, and everyone else to feel that sting, because in 50's world, betrayal doesn't get swept under the rug. It gets dragged into the spotlight, one petty post at a time. Honestly, at the end of the day, Big Meech is left empty-handed. He's out, sure, but 50, he's done no more support, no more loyalty, and definitely no more backing for Meech's family. And let's not forget the main breadwinner of the family, Lil Meech, just lost his jobs, y'all. Remember how Lil Meech tried to guilt trip 50 into keeping the show alive? Yeah, well, that didn't work. Season 4, BMF canceled, gone. And it's not hard to figure out why 50 just posted a text from Lil Meech, and it's got every Big Meech money to hold him over until BMF picks back up. So now Rick Ross isn't just playing instigator. He's got Big Meech and his son in his pocket. Here's exactly what Lil Meech said. They just told me you unfollow me on Instagram. And now you managing Skilla Baby with Rocket. When I brought him around you first, when you didn't have a clue who he was, now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act like I'm your enemy. I've only ever showed you love and loyalty. I go through my own ish. But I never switched up on you, F. Ross. But he gave my dad some bread, so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. And you already know the game couldn't sit this one out. He jumped in with zero hesitation. You were supposed to be like, F you this BMF, and I'm standing with my pops. Now me and Fifth got our own issues. But that is on pod while I post this. Then Fifth said, what's your little a gun? Do I damn near spit my water out? What happened to Gangster Man Big Meech? You can't let 50 get at you like that. Apparently everybody saw the concert, bailing from a mile away, except for the Meeches. And there it is, Lil Meech, the one person you'd expect to hold down the BMF legacy, is biting the very hand that fed him, the same hand that gave him a career, a platform, and a lifeline, while his father was locked up. But wait, it gets worse. 50 Cent isn't showing any signs of letting up on Big Meech. Now he's going after Meech's parenting. That's how far back this mess goes. And of course, 50 had to throw some shade. He straight up questioned why Ross, who's now all buddy-buddy with Big Meech, didn't do more for Lil Meech when it actually mattered, why old boy didn't look out for Mimi and send him to acting school. Big Screech 50 I wrote, all your people that was out did nothing for him. And here's the real sting. You come home thinking you the Black Pablo Escobar and effed him up. It's wild when you think about it. 50 was the one that paid for Lil Meech to attend acting school and jumpstart his career. Not Ross, not Meech's so-called circle, but 50. And now with all this back and forth, it's looking like Meech bit the hand that was feeding his family at this point. It's not just beef. And if there's one thing we know about 50, he never forgets. And here's where things get real shady. 50 didn't just pull the snitch card out of thin air. Rumors about Big Meech cutting a deal with the feds have been swirling for a while. See, even before 50 outed Meech as a snitch, whispers were already flying. And guess who was right in the middle of it? Tammy Cowens, a known federal informant, and someone Meech considered a close friend. Tammy was allegedly the one who helped Meech negotiate the deal that shaved years off his sentence. But let's be real, Meech wasn't walking free without giving the Fed something big in return. And that big fish, it was none other than his longtime friend and business partner Dion Gatling, aka Cuffy. Yeah, you heard.
Was set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery, also known as Big Meech.
And how did they find out? Well, they managed to uncover the identity of one of the confidential informants in the case. And guess whose name kept popping up? Big Meech.
In 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF.
And here's where things get even messier. To move things along, Meech connected Cuppy with Tammy Cowens, who was handling his business affairs at the time. She wasn't just a casual associate. She was Mech's power of attorney and owned the rights to his life story. Cuffy, trusting his old friend, got involved thinking it was a solid opportunity. But everything fell apart when Cuffy was suddenly arrested. Once the discovery documents came in, it became clear that someone close had flipped. That's when Cuffy realized to the confidential informant CS1 really was Tammy Cowens. At first, the family couldn't believe it. The idea that Meech would set someone up he called a friend seemed impossible. But as they dug deeper, the piece of clarity from Meech, he brushed off the concerns, acting like it was all a misunderstanding. But it wasn't. The more the Gatling family investigated, the more obvious it became that Meech had been playing both sides. Tammy might have been the face of the betrayal, but there was no way she was working without Meech's knowledge. In the end, Cuffy's fate was sealed. While Meech walked free, Cuffy was left to face the consequences. The so-called brotherhood Meech preached about it didn't extend far enough to protect an old friend when the feds came knocking. Even with all the receipts laid out, some folks are still bending over backward to defend Big Meech. And right on cue, Young Buck jumps into the ring, trying to cape for Meech like it's his last shot at relevance.
Quit playing with dude. You know, I'm gonna say that much. Over and out. I catch y'all what I catch y'all is
B. But if there's one thing we know about 50 Cent, it said he doesn't do second chances. His response ruthless. He wasted no time clowning Young Buck, dragging him for his past controversies. This fool fell out with me because he liked boys. 50 Cent wrote, I didn't tell him to go loving on a __. He couldn't resist like that busy. And just when you think he'd stop there, he doubled down, mocking Me Too. I'll give Mona Scott Young, executive producer of the reality series, a call for him later today. But here's the thing, 50 warned everyone. He spelled it out loud and clear on The Breakfast Club. If you're teetering on the fence, he'll push you right off. No neutral ground, no middle lane. You ride with Ross, fine, go chase a bag with full-blown war. And 50 Cent is making sure everyone knows where the battle lines are drawn. Lil Meech, Big Meech, Rick Ross, Young Buck. They've all found themselves on the wrong side of 50. And if history tells us anything, once you cross him, there's no coming back. 50 is not just coming for Ross over petty drama, he's making it personal. Because in his eyes, Ross didn't just play industry games, he stole from him. From the BMF brand to the loyalty 50 thought he built with Lil Meech. It's all crumbling, and 50 is torching everything in sight. So what do you think? Is Rick Ross really out here stealing from 50? Or is 50 just stirring the pot for attention? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe.